What's up everybody, Arrg the Pirate here, and today I'm going to be playing a little Kallari in the offlane. As always, let's go over the deck. Now I have Improved Killing Blows, Fast Travel, Mana Generator, Piercing Basic, Critical Hits, and Healing Towers for my gems. Now for my cards, I have Cull the Weak, Exoskeleton, Flame of Zetchin, Green Spring, Possess Sprykin, Growth Totem, Guard Piercer, Thunder Cleaver, Wound Seeker, Trapper, One of the Tribe, and lastly Vampiric Blade. Now before I get into this video, I actually ran into one of my subs in a solo queue, and I thought I'd give him a shout out. Hey, Diego CSGO, it was awesome playing with you, bud, and it was really cool getting recognized by, it was like a random stranger, like, hey, what's up, buddy? That felt really awesome, and I gotta say, I appreciate that. And, hey, if y'all want to join my Discord, play with me, anything like that, if y'all see me in a draft lobby, feel free to say hi. Typically I type back, and if I don't, I'm not ignoring you, I just can't read. So, I love playing with y'all guys, and if y'all want to join the Discord, feel free. I typically play with anybody that wants to play, so it is kind of first come, first serve, and whenever I jump on, I just say, hey, does anybody want to play? So, if you are interested, hey, jump in Discord, like I said, I'd love to play with y'all. Well, enough about that, let's get into this gameplay. Now, I know a ton of people want to play Kallari, and they kind of struggle with her. Now, this is, of course, the offlane guide. I did do a Servox Initiate guide, which I'll throw some highlights up at the end, or, maybe I'll come out with kind of like a little highlight video just to kind of go side by side with this. I really don't find that build viable, and, it has been requested, but since they made it where it takes you out of invisibility, it's nowhere close to as good as it used to be, and I was rushing that card. I played it in 2 different matches. The first one, I think I went 15, 10, and 9 or something like that, and, you don't do any damage at all with that card on when you rush it. You really need to build up your damage, and by the time you build up your damage, if you go to a card like that, it could help, but by the time you get to that point, you're probably pretty fed, and you're cranking out tons of damage already. Now, again, let's get into this gameplay. Now, if you see, I am playing just a little bit cautious. I do have healing towers, and I'm just kind of going in for last hits. You have to think of Kallari as an ADC, even though, I definitely typically wouldn't say she is one, but avoid getting hit as much as you can. You can see just a couple of hits from that steal, I went down, that I'm at half health. Although I do have healing towers, and it's really going to help me out, it is definitely important to avoid as much poke as possible when you play Kallari. You can also see I'm using that dagger to secure last hits. This is allowing me to stay at far range, stay under tower, get that healing tower gem working, and as well as get my farm, which as an offlaner, farm is very important, but as Kallari, farm is critical, because even whenever I hit level 20, if I don't have any cards, I'm still going to hit like a wet noodle. So I definitely need to get as much farm as I can. Now this is one thing I see people do all the time. Now I'm going to wait for this minion wave to come in. This is actually going to reset the lane because my minions are going to be pushed up a lot further and kind of get out of the range of my tower. And I see a lot of people go in and try to get farm. And you can see I'm just hanging out under tower. I'm going to keep securing that farm with my dagger, but I'm just going to stay back. There's no reason for me to leave this tower because I probably wouldn't get a last hit anyway. And that opens me up to get poked by their ADC or even get stunned and, really damaged by both that Steel and Murdoch combo. So just kind of stay back, play safe. You don't need to leave your tower. And from here, Fang is heading over, so I'm just going to back, put on Possessed Sprykin, and then I can actually start pushing against the enemy team. Now from here, again, I put on the Possessed Sprykin. I'm going to head back to my lane. Fang was here to cover for me. You know, that's great. I'm going to just continue pushing, you know, try to get my farm. You can see I'm looking towards mid, seeing I know there's a fight going down. If someone gets low enough, I can ult over and take them out. I'm going to just do a little poke on that Murdoch. We might get some rotation or something like that. So, you know, poking him whenever I get a chance, that might make it a little easier to take him out. And, you know, I'm just going to kind of hang out. Now, you see, I'm back all the way at my tower. I am losing experience, and I might be losing a little bit of farm, but that's okay. I'm staying safe, which this is kind of a rule in general for the offlane, but it's even more so when you play these type of squishy heroes like Kallari or even Shimby. You want to stay back, you know, remain as safe as possible. All the typical offlaners that are kind of squishy, you know, Countess, Kallari, Shimby, they all do have some form of, you know, pretty decent escape, but that doesn't mean that you should play recklessly. Stay back, stay at your tower, wait for them to down your tower before you really start playing aggressive. And you can see it's 7 minutes in and we've still got their tower. I haven't done a very good job of getting green or their gold buff, but that's quite alright. You know, they have been very cautious and backing up. Right now would be a good time to head over and try to get that, but I don't want to try to contest their gold buff when, you know, I've got to worry about a steal CC, especially since they're running wards. So, you know, in my mind, gold buff just isn't worth the risk at the moment. Now, I am kind of just keeping an eye on everything. You can see I'm kind of backing off, looking, checking the minimap, seeing if there's anything going down. I need to be careful because I am a little overextended, but that's fine. I can stay overextended and still be kind of safe, but their steal is missing as well, so I need to be careful because, you know, if he does have his ult, he can come in and, you know, I'll probably be dead. Now that this lane's reset, I'm going to go ahead and head into the jungle and just kind of secure some jungle farm. I do end up spending some points here, so I am getting better at it, guys. But I just head over to the jungle, and then I see, hey, there's a fight in our safe lane. I'm going to head over there, see if I can make something happen. I end up taking out this Countess, but from here, I'm low on mana. My lane is going to be pushing, so I need to back. I have to trust that my Richter can handle the situation over there. I don't want to just give my tower away for free because, you know, they made a bad play on that side or the enemy team made a good play on the enemy side. That doesn't mean that I should just give my tower away. I definitely need to head over there, but being able to relieve some of that pressure was, you know, awesome. Now, if you see here, I go instantly in on this Murdoch. We might lose the tower at this point. That's no problem. And that little bit of poke on that Murdoch turned him right around and actually saved my tower. You know, it is almost dead. And we are 9 minutes in, which, you know, hey, that's good at holding a tower. So, you know, that little bit of poke saved my tower. And that's kind of one thing that is really important. ADCs, they do a lot of damage to towers, but if they don't have a support, they don't take a lot of damage to kill them. And when they are under tower, they can't shoot you. So it's best just to go in on them, get them out, and then you can deal with the minion wave. If the support would have been there, if Steel would have been there, I would have never even engaged in that fight. But since he isn't there, hey, I'm free to do what I need to. Now from here, I end up pushing this lane back to the enemy tower. I'm going to head back in. I really need to get back to base, top off with mana. I do have enough points to actually throw on that Guard Pierce and my Growth Totem. So I did end up getting a 10-minute Growth Totem, which, you know, 10-minute Growth Totem is very nice. So this is going to allow me to, you know, really get a huge damage spike, and hopefully I can actually start counter pushing a little bit. You can see I got 2 hits on that Steel and I chunked him down pretty good. So I did get a significant damage spike, and with that Growth Totem, you know, Growth Totem's just such a good card, and I don't think it's going to go anywhere anytime soon. So that's that combo on pretty much every offlaner is just amazing. That Possessed Spritekin with that growth totem. And if you are thinking about getting into Kallari, I would highly recommend doing this type of build. That Possessed Spritekin will really help you, deal with her kind of downfalls, that being very, very weak. That will help you have a lot more sustain. And picking up growth totem, like I said, is never a bad idea. Now, I do ult over and end up taking out that Countess. I did not mean to steal that from Gideon. I didn't realize he was ulting. Yeah, if I would be in comms with him, I would have definitely not taken that from him because that would have been a very good kill for him. But securing a kill that, she might have got away, probably not, but maybe securing that kill is definitely worth it, especially since I am that Kallari. I definitely need as much farm as I can get. And you can see I'm instantly going to head back over to my off lane and continue my farm after, I apologize for stealing a kill, of course. Now from here, I'm just going to shove this lane and hopefully, get some tower damage. It still is very much the laning phase and, I'm not too terribly worried about taking this tower down. I would like it to go down, but it's not that big of a deal if it stays up a little longer. I'm just going to kind of run around, continue to look. Do I need to head somewhere? Do I need to help out anywhere? As the offlaner and as an assassin, that's what I need to do. I need to make sure I'm securing kills. When anybody gets low, they need to die at my hands. And, we have a little bit of a collapse in mid, so I'm going to head over there. Now, Fang, you can see he's in their jungle, and he was heading up, and you can see they have massive team presence. He made a great call by turning around there. I would have that's one thing about me. When people do silly things, I'm right there with them doing silly things. So I would have hate to have had to engage in that fight, but, I would have. But you can see I instantly ult over to that Murdoch because I know their full team is in that mid lane. So I might have been able to get a kill. If I would have had a little more mana or definitely a little more damage, we probably would have got that kill. But that was a very safe time for me to ult over because, I don't have to worry about a steal. And as long as I'm forcing him away from his farm, we're doing our job well. Now, I am low on mana, so I'm going to head over and actually pick up that river buff. I was thinking about backing, but hey, I'm doing fairly well on damage and everything like that, so I'm just gonna head over. I keep that Murdoch from backing. Anytime you can keep someone from backing, it's actually a big help because that's a lot of wasted time. They might be 5 seconds into their backing animation, then they have to kind of reset and they don't instantly back. They go reposition themselves, so you might keep them out of lane for 30-45 seconds just by poking them a little. Now, Steel and Kallari do make an attempt to gank me, but, I'm a lot more fed than their Kallari, and so I was able to withstand her a little bit, and then Steel is, he does have his ult, but without having some solid damage backup, I was able to just kind of get out of there, and that Possessed Spritekin healing me right back up. I'm almost a full health again, so I really love having this card. I don't know how many times I've said that, and I am going to work on a little more later game deck so I can, I'll definitely quit using this card so much, but it still is one of the best cards in my opinion just because it's 3 points and you get so much out of this card. But again, no problem. I'm going to definitely work on some other builds, just kind of show some other things off. Now, I do end up just forcing this lane. It's 17 minutes in. It's definitely time to take this tower down. We haven't had just a whole ton of, presence from our other heroes in this lane. We did have a little bit from Fang in the beginning, but I've kind of been here by myself, so taking out that tower at 17 is not too bad. Now, I did ult over to that Steel, and we were able to take him out. And we actually end up taking out that mid lane tower as well. I missed my dagger on that Murdoch. Fang was kind of standing right behind me. One thing I definitely got to say, I don't like where the, crosshairs are. How for Kallari, it's above her head. For, ADCs, it's way to the side. I really wish that you could put it where you want it. And I also kind of wish you could change the color of it, because it does blend in as things sometimes. When you're kind of looking at the mini map and you're just kind of, peripheral where it is, it's very hard to see. But hopefully that will be fixed in the future. I did go ahead and back and I put on Trapper. Now, Trapper is a very solid card for Kallari. It's got tons and tons of attack speed. You're able to, get your root. That also, pairs very well with your dagger. So once you start hitting somebody, they're not going anywhere. And it feels like a very solid build for Kallari. Now, from here, there's a great fight happening in mid, and, I need to be there. We're all kind of getting everything set up. I definitely need to be there to help get these kills, to pick off the stragglers, and that's exactly what we do. This Iggy stays in the back, and hey, it's time to go in on Iggy. We take this Iggy out. There's their zoner. Now, Countess is trying to run away. We end up actually taking, a good portion of damage on her, but she did shadow slip me, and I thought I was ulting her, but I ended up ulting this Kallari, which, hey, no problem. I am able to get out. Our Richter ends up actually securing that Countess, and Fang ends up securing Kallari. So, hey, we're at a 3-for-2 fight right now. We're, having some great progress here, and this Steel, he kind of shows up, and we're able to just melt him. Fang, me, and Richter just, that Richter, that was just a great play. Now, we did get 4 of them down, but unfortunately, the lane does take a very long time to get here, or the minion wave. But I'm saying, hey, let's just dive this. We have very limited time to take this out. Let's dive this. Let's get this tower down. As soon as Iggy shows up, Richter actually dips out, which I wish he would have stayed in. I really think we could have got that tower, but no problem. We did get a substantial amount of damage on it. I do go down for the first time right there, and, I was really thinking that Richter was going to stay in on that, and I really don't think we would have had an issue taking it down, but, hey, you can't play for your other heroes, or you can't play for, your teammates, and I really should have not said, hey, he's going to stay in whenever I am. No problem. Hopefully we can turn this around. That was our first death, so no big deal at all. Once I spawn back in, I'm going to just, again, head to my off lane and continue to push it. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and set this lane, although that was a pretty sloppy set, but I do see there is a fight in mid, and I want to head over there. Now, I go ahead and ult their Kallari. We're able to take her out, and then me and Fang are able to go in on this Iggy. Now, one thing I was not aware, people didn't realize, Iggy his turrets really only target one person at a time. Sure, they spray bullets everywhere, but the main focus of that damage is really just on one person. So you can just let your tankier heroes absorb that damage and kind of, weave around. You will take a little bit of poke, but that's no problem. The majority of the damage will be on a single person. Now, again, you saw those minions. I'm still not used to not being able to take out wards. And those minions were doing a good job. I should have just left them, but no problem. I do end up actually going in on a Raptor. I wanted to see it, if I could actually do it. I have my lifesteal. I have that Possessed Sprykin. And we actually do a decent job of taking it out. So, I wasn't going to continue pushing the other Raptors. I can come back for those later. Now, Kallari does use her ult, and she actually ults me for whatever reason. I'm just going to ignore that. I wasn't sure what that was about. She might have misclicked or something. But we do end up heading to this mid lane. We have some presence here, so hopefully we can just shove this lane down their throats. But with Countess being here, I need to be a little more careful. But once those minions got in the tower, I just go ahead and dive it, and we're able to take that out. Now, I do get my dagger onto this Countess, which that let our Gideon get out. That was... I hope he appreciated that dagger. But from here, we're just going to kind of keep it up and keep the pressure up. Now, I go ahead and just take out these turrets. As a damage dealer, I am able to kind of delete those turrets at the moment. Taking those out is really important for any kind of melee hero. And since I typically am going to have more damage than most melee heroes, that was, easy for me to do. Now, I go ahead and head over to this Kallari. I'm going to go in on this Kallari. She should be running scared for me, just like she is. I'm a lot more fed than her, as well as have a pretty significant level advantage. So, you know, she is kind of running scared. I do go ahead and poke her with that dagger. And then again, I'm going to go in under tower on her. I should be able to take her out. I go ahead and hit her with my ult, and then I back out of the tower. You know, I hit her with that dagger, back out of the tower, but Countess shows up and she's actually able to take me out. That was a pretty sloppy and needless death on my part. With Kallari having such a lower level than me, she's going to come back much, much faster. So, you know, I definitely shouldn't have done that, but it is what it is. I got the kill. You know, I am 5-2-4, so we're having a pretty successful match for being not really a Kallari player anymore. So we're doing pretty well, in my opinion. Now, while I was down, the enemy team actually rotates over and secures Prime. You know, that should have been fairly obvious to my team because, you know, they're all missing. But it is what it is. They did get Prime. Now, I do something really dumb here, and I'm going to head over. I was thinking, hey, I can probably kill some of these scraps. And I'm thinking I'm going to get in before Iggy shows up. That Countess went invis right at the last second, and that kind of messed me up. And then I hit my ult. I misclicked my ult, and I just, you know, I stopped moving and just stand there and let them kill me. You know, that was just a terrible play on my part. Challenging Prime is never good. I was hoping that by being able to take out one of their massive damage dealers, you know, I was trying to go for their Countess or their Murdoch. By taking one of them out, you know, probably sacrificing myself, but taking one of them out, we could really have just a huge impact. But luckily, my team collapses and does a great job here. They're able to take out this Countess. They end up taking out their steel, so that's their engagers. They end up doing a great job and really defend. You know, it is a 2-for-3 fight at the moment, but they did a very good. It could have been much, much worse. The enemy team does end up pushing very well. You can see all their lanes are set, so it is a bit of an issue, but again, we got to make the best out of a bad situation. That was really my fault. I should not have engaged on that, and again, it is what it is. Too late to do anything about it now. Just please learn from my mistakes, guys. That was a terrible decision on my part. Now, as soon as I spawn back in, I gotta head to this mid-inhib. We make incredibly short work of that Kallari. I'm able to dagger that Iggy and take him out, and then my ult's almost up, so I'm gonna go ahead, ult this Murdoch. Hopefully we can actually get some damage on him. He does dagger me, but with Gideon being here, we're gonna take him out, get a great triple kill. Hopefully from here we can actually turn this around, get some lane push, you know, actually maybe even get a tower or an inhib taken out. Now, we really need to push one lane. You know, with our team split up the way we are, we've got 2 in one lane, 2 in another lane, and 1 in one lane. Right now is the time we should be collapsing on one lane, and there's no faster lane than mid lane. That's where we all should be, or at least most of the team. But, you know, we don't quite communicate that well enough. But I want to do as much as I can. Push this lane. You know, I am clearing waves pretty fast. Even though it's definitely not the fastest, I'm doing a decent job. I go ahead and dip out because that steel, I just didn't want to get poked by him. And you can see this Countess heads in on this Murdoch. I'm going to do what I can to take her out. I really should have just left. You know, when that steel ult missed, I should have went invis and ran away. That's just that kind of inexperience with Kallari. I thought I would be okay with that, but again, that was just a poor decision on my part. That's kind of the inexperience with Kallari. You have to get out. Kallari's very, very weak. You can see I can do a lot of damage, but I don't take much to kill. And especially against a Countess. Countess can just absolutely delete you, especially if she gets her ult off. You know, that's a good portion of your health. And then that Dark Wake, you know, Countess can kill a steel. Imagine what she can do to a squishy little invisible guy. So definitely going in on that Countess is not the best idea, but I really want to try to get her out because she is one of the biggest threats on their team. Now, my team is making some good forward progress, so hopefully we can capitalize on this. When I finally do spawn back in, I'm going to go ahead and ult. You know, I do know they have some low enemies, so I ult over. I'm able to take out their Kallari, and I can see that Countess is running up. I'm going to see if, you know, maybe I can get lucky and take her out. Sure enough, she's lazy backing. We're able to just delete her. But I do need to get out. You know, they're Murdoch. He's not playing around at this time. So I got to get out. I don't want to take any damage from him. I am able to dip out, and I kind of help this lane push a little bit. And then I'm going to actually head over to the off lane. You can see they've got a massive wave over there, and I definitely need to go over there because that wave's probably big enough that it could take our inhib if it made it all the way to it. So definitely need to go clean that up. You know, that is my lane after all. Now, their gold buff is about to spawn in, but I'm not too worried about that. I need to clean this wave up. I want to start with the ranged minions. Of course, they're doing the most damage, and definitely the siege minions. You know, taking out the ranged first really, you know, lessens the damage on your minion wave. And that really kind of allows you to then go ahead and clean up that, you know, the ranged or the melee minions. And you can see that massive wave being there, even with me taking it, you know, as much damage or doing as much damage as I could. They were able to clean up our minion wave crazy fast. So from here, I'm just going to shove this lane. You know, we've kind of got a little bit of a split push. We've got some mid lane presence, got some safe lane, and, you know, I'm just going to push this lane. We can see maybe something happens. I've always got my ult in case I need to head somewhere, but it would be nice to actually push this lane. Then maybe we could actually secure their objectives. And you see our Fang and Gideon are actually heading to Raptors and going to secure that. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and dip out. You know, they had some enemy heroes show up, and I just don't want to deal with that. I'm going to go see if Green Buff's there, and believe it or not, Iggy's taking their green buff. So just gonna kind of wait around, and then I say, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna kill Iggy. I end up taking Iggy out, and then I end up taking this green buff, which did a good amount of damage. Countess does show up, and I did not see her. You know, she walked right up to me too, and I just didn't see her. With all the flames and everything going around everywhere, she's able to just absolutely delete me. That definitely was not a good trade on my part. The visuals of Iggy are just super distracting. I really hope that maybe they turn those down. You know, even whenever I'm not playing as, you know, even whenever I'm not in that type of situation, the flames are just so distracting. It's hard to get last hits. To me, it's a visual distraction, which is, I'm just not a big fan of it. Now, when I do spawn in, my team is actually going for Prime. And I was thinking about heading over there, but I say, you know what? I'm going to get these lanes pushing because you can see the lanes are struggling a little bit. I see Iggy heading over there, and I say, you know what? I'm going to ult him so he in no way can steal that. And, you know, of course, that's exactly what I do. But from here, we need to actually get our lanes pushing because they were kind of set against us. Me and Fang actually head over to this safe lane, and we really, you know, get it focused in the right direction. Richter is in that off lane, so hopefully he can get that adjusted well, or, you know, at least set good enough to where he can rotate to mid, and maybe we can actually get an inhib at this point. Now again, me and Fang are just marching down this safe lane, and I'm going to go invis because I thought I saw Countess go invis, so I'm just going to kind of hang out in Viz. Now once our minions get into this tower, I'm just going to start hitting this tower. Now I didn't realize, someone has vision on me somehow. I guess their Kallari was probably walking around in Viz. Luckily, since they were focused on me, Fang was able to get in there and just crank out tons of damage and take them out. You know, that's great. Now, if you see here, me and Kallari were both in Viz, and I've got vision on him, he's got vision on me, so that really kind of cancels us out, and we're not really going to make any plays. You know, it's kind of who goes uninvis first. Now, Richter does grab that steal, and I say, you know what? That's a perfect opportunity for me to go in. You know, if we can take out Steel, they no longer have an engage. And sure enough, that's exactly what we do. we're able to take him out, but with that Countess, Countess used her ult on me, and Kallari used her ult on me. So that is a huge team effort to take me out, and that really was, that was the best that they could do, probably. Countess was spot on with that ult, but unfortunately, my team was just overwhelming. By taking their steal out, it's game over. Well, this is going to kind of wrap it up, guys. I'm actually dead when we win, so I'm just going to spectate Fang and let y'all watch our victory. But this was an absolute blast of a match. I haven't played Kallari in so long, I was really kind of worried about being terrible, but we had a pretty good game. 11-6-6 with a 177 farm. I'm definitely not going to frown at those numbers. It feels very solid, and I really like this build on her. Again, I did play with that Arrg Initiate, or whatever, the Deathlink card, and it's not worth it, guys. It really is not. I might make kind of a little cut-up video for y'all and show those highlights, but again, it's not worth playing with that card. Well, that's going to wrap it up, guys. I really hope this video helped out and maybe showed y'all how to play Kallari. I know I've had a lot of questions about that, but if you did enjoy, show me some love. Leave me a comment. Think about joining our Discord and playing with me sometime. And as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.